Hi, this is Tom at University of Iowa. I'm going to show you an interesting case where we had a patient with loose zonules. You can see there's a dense lens. We use trypan blue here, but look how the lens is moving while we do the rexus. And so we're going to go ahead and use MST capsule retractors. You make the paracentesis about 45 degrees into the cornea, and you make it more anterior than you do with iris hooks. We'll do the first retractor here. You can see it's a little hard to engage. Sometimes you have to manipulate it around. Sometimes it's useful to use OVD to create more space between the anterior capsule and the lens. But in this case, we're able to catch the anterior capsule. I'm going to place the other four. Here's the fourth and final one. You can see it gets easier as you go around. The space becomes more clearly defined. Once we get this fourth capsule retractor in place, we're going to tighten the other ones up and get it just right so that there's a very secure lens for the phaco. Now here when we start the phaco, we find that the back plate of this lens is very leathery and it's very hard to crack, and we get worried a little bit about keeping the zonules good while we're cracking this, and so we're going to add some viscoelastic here. Now we're going to use the Miloop, and we're going to go just under the anterior capsule and just under the two MST retractors on the right side, and we're going to use this Miloop to crack this lens into two pieces. There you can see it coming around posteriorly here and get it vertical and just crack down. You don't want to bring it around any more than vertical because you don't want to catch the MST retractors on the other side. It tends to pull the lens up a little bit, which is not too bad when you use the Miloop. And now we've got it in half, which is great. Makes the rest of the nuclear fractus really easy. You can see that the pieces just come right up because they've been divided in half. You can see how nicely that device worked to get rid of the problem of the leathery posterior plate. Now we've got these MST retractors in place, and we want to make sure we don't place this capsular tension ring through one of those retractors. We also want to do it in a very gentle way, so we're using this technique of the Sinskey hook that I learned from Dan Bettis. You can see how it gets caught a little bit here on the hook. No big deal. We'll just replace that. And so it's a great way to place a capsular tension ring. To remove these MST retractors, you just push them in and move them over to the side and then just pull them out through the paracentesis. Now we're going to place a three-piece MA50 lens. We're going to put the haptics in the sulcus, and we're going to prolapse it back in the traditional optic capture position. But first we're just going to get the two haptics in the sulcus and about half of the optic in the bag. We're going to go underneath with the IA and remove any residual viscoelastic material. And then we're going to go on top of the lens. We're going to prolapse the whole thing back so that it's captured. This is Tom at the University of Iowa. Thank you.